Simple about Spanish, just false advertising. So first of all, I want to go over the difference between Spanish and English, because if we think about learning a second language, Spanish is one of the easiest that a native English speaker can learn. The difference is, it is a highly inflected language, whereas English is not a highly inflected language. And if we think of something like Chinese, it's even less inflected. So what exactly does this mean? An inflection is just the way a word changes. So if we think about the word play in English, there are 4 possibilities for this word. We have to play, plays, played, or playing, right? So any sentence that you want to make in English, you can do it with one of these 4 versions of the verb. I play basketball, he plays basketball, she plays basketball, we play basketball. I could also say I played basketball, or I am playing basketball. So as you can see, any sentence we want to make in English, we can do with one of these 3 inflections. He was playing basketball. He had played basketball. So if you think about it, the number of possibilities of new words that can be made from this verb is only 4. In Spanish, on the other hand, a highly inflected language, that's where you start to see the difference. In comparison, if you want to think about inflections in Spanish, this is the only thing that makes the language difficult. Once you learn the inflections, it will be a lot easier for you to pick up the language. So let's take a look at what that means. If I have the word like hablar, we have all of these possibilities that we could have in Spanish. So hablo, hablas, habla, hablan, habléis, hablé, hablaste, hable, hablaron. All of these different endings, which are the inflections, are what makes Spanish difficult. But once you learn them, it's very simple for you to understand. Now let's take an example in English that makes it more difficult than Spanish. If we have this sentence in English, the old man the boat, depending on how I say this sentence and where I put the stress on the word, the meaning can change, right? So I could say, the old man the boat, or the old man the boat. So you have 2 different possible meanings here just by changing your stress and the way that you are, pronouncing the sentence. Whereas in Spanish, this would never happen, because those inflections that make it very difficult for you to start learning also simplify the language. Once you have an inflection with a certain ending, you know who the subject is, and you know exactly what they're doing, and you know exactly when they did it. So it takes away all of the ambiguity that sometimes exists in English, and this is really what makes Spanish a lot simpler. Also, not to mention, I want you to look at this picture right here. This picture right here just shows Spanish is one of the easiest languages for English speakers to learn. So, this is backed in science. It's backed by many research studies. So if you think Spanish is difficult, it's probably just because you don't understand how to use an inflectional language. And that's okay. You don't have to learn grammar to know it. You don't have to take a grammar course to learn it. All you have to do is use the language. And once you do that, you'll start to pick it up.